Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Current Law Gyan. I am Himashri pursuing 4th year BA LLB. Today I am here to share some legal terms. Before that, what are these legal terms mean? In legal writing, it is often hard to read because of its specialized language and terminology. Those terminology refers to words that are specific to the legal profession. Terms originated from Latin, Greek, etc. within the legal system for the purpose of conveying meanings to the specific to the law. In this video, I am going to teach you some legal terms. So, are you ready to learn? Let's get started. The first term is accomplice. In law, an accomplice is a person who actively participates in the commission of crime, even though they take no part in the actual criminal offense. That means a person who may not be a part of a criminal offense while committing, but he is actively participating in the commission. I know it is little bit confusing. Let me clear it with simple example. We see in a bank robbery, like in movies or in some papers when we talk about bank robbery, that we find two men armed with guns enter bank and demand money, and other person who is waiting outside in a car waiting for them to come and get escape with the money. Here, the person who is outside in a car actually no part in the crime. But when the crime is committed, he was actively participating in the commission of crime. Hence, the same person called accomplice and shall be criminally liable to the same extent as the remaining people in the offense. I hope you understood. Coming to the next, act of God. Any incident or accident which occurs due to the operation of natural forces where no human intervention is there, which no human could anticipate ahead. For example, if someone is injured while driving a car and accident is caused due to earthquake, then the person may escape from the liability by taking defense of act of God. He shall not be liable if he is proven not guilty. Let's get into third, that is adjourn. Most of us have come across this word. We see in a real courts or in movies where there is a scene of courtroom. We see the court of judge says the court is adjourned. The meaning of this adjourn is to postpone the hearing of the case for future date. For example, the judge in the court at the end of a hearing of a session, he says the court is adjourned for tomorrow. Next, alibi. Alibi, this is a defense that the accused was somewhere else at the time of crime was committed. Let me make it clear with an example. Suppose if X is an accused of Y's murder on a particular day at Pune. On that day, X was at Bombay is relevant to prove alibi. He, that means X, has to prove that it would be impossible for him to commit a murder at Pune as he was in Bombay on the occurrence of the offense. Fifth, alimony. Due to this COVID restrictions, there are many domestic violence cases are filed before the court. If the parties, that is husband or wife, get divorced, then the court decides certain amount of money that spouse should give to the other spouse for upkeep of spouse or children's after the divorce. This amount of money is called alimony. For example, if a X is husband and Y is wife got divorced, then the spouse who is financially weak to upkeep themselves, then the court grants alimony to them and asks the other spouse to give them after the divorce. Now, legal maxims for the day. I would like to share two maxims of the day. Its explanations along with the cases which are important in the point of CLAT, LawCET or other law entrance examination. The first one is injuria sine damnum. Injuria sine damnum is a legal maxim which means that injury or a loss or damage so caused to the plaintiff without suffering any physical injury or damage. It is a Latin term where injuria refers to injury, sine refers to without, and damnum refers to a property or any physical loss. Therefore, the term refers to injury suffered without actual loss. Let me explain with the case law. The first case is Ashby versus White. This is well-known maxim which explained. In this case, where the plaintiff was a qualified voter at a parliament election, while the defendant, who was a returning officer in the election, wrongfully refused to take a vote of the plaintiff. Although the plaintiff did not suffer any loss by such wrongful act, as a candidate he wants to win was won successfully in the election. Here, his legal right of a plaintiff were infringed, and therefore the defendant was held liable when the action was before the court. The second leading case in this maxim is Bhim Singh versus State of Jammu Kashmir. In this case, the petitioner was MLA of Jammu and Kashmir Parliamentary Assembly. While he was going to attend the assembly session, police there wrongfully arrested him. He was not even presented before the magistrate within stipulated time. This resulted that the person was wrongfully deprived of his legal right to attend the meeting, and moreover his fundamental right, that is Article 21 of the Constitution, was also violated. It was held in this case that the respondent was responsible and the petitioner was liable to receive rupees 50,000 from the defendant. In the cases of injuria sine damnum, the loss suffered is not any physical loss, but due to the violation of legal right, therefore damages received by the aggrieved party because of some kind of a loss is being suffered, and hence the amount of damages are determined just to compensate the victim. The second maxim, damnum sine injuria. It is a maxim which refers to injury which is being suffered by the plaintiff, but there is no violation of any legal right of a person. In such circumstances where there is no violation of a legal right but the injury or damage is being suffered by the plaintiff cannot bring in action against the other for the same, as it is not actionable in law unless there is some infringement of legal right is present. To understand it better, let me give you a case law. The case name is Gloucester Grammar School case. Here, the defendant was a schoolmaster, intentionally opened the school in front of a plaintiff's school, causing damages to him. As due to the increase of competition, the plaintiff has to reduce their fees per scholar per quarter. It was held that even though plaintiff has suffered harm, but there was no infringement of any legal right. Therefore, the defendant cannot be held liable. I hope it was informative. That's it for today. Hope you like it. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.